We're gonna spell out fall today. So we're gonna do 4 rounds of that. We're gonna do 50 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest slash transition time, and then we're gonna do that 4 times through, and then we'll do our stretching and our breathing at the end. So that is going to be the deal for today. So real quick with our demos here. So we're gonna do fall. So for our F, we're gonna do forward lunges. So if this is something where it's not feeling so good on your knees, feel free to do a reverse lunge. But for the forward lunge, we're going to alternate stepping forward, knee over the second toe, pushing off of that front foot, and then alternating to the other side. So again, if that's not feeling good on your knees, feel free to go from the reverse lunge. And then we're going to go ahead and get on the ground. We're going to do ab mats. So we're going to work on our core here. So we're going to be on our backs on the ground. Feet are going to be together. We're going to tap the ground above our head. Exhale, come out, touch your toes. So we're going to go back, touch the ground, and then our toes. So that's going to be our A. And then for our first L, we're going to do a moving lateral lunge. So we're going to start on one side. We're going to step out into our lateral lunge and then pushing off of that foot in that direction. So ideally we'd be able to move 2 or 3 in one direction. I only have space to move once. So again, we'll then go back the way we came. So stepping out, pushing off and going that way for the moving lateral lunges. And then we're gonna go back on the ground for single leg lowering. So for this, we're on our backs on the ground, feet straight up in the air. We're gonna lower one leg. Exhale, come back up, using the core to pull our legs back up here. So that's going to be our circuit for today. So we're going to get started with our warm up. So we're actually going to go ahead and start off on the ground with our hip flexor to hamstring stretch. So we're going to go on the ground, half kneeling. I'll try to make sure I can fit everything in the screen here. So half kneeling, one knee on the ground and one foot on the ground. And we're gonna bring our butt to our belly button. We're gonna squeeze our glute. We're gonna push our hips forward. You can also add the arm overhead, get an extra stretch through our hip flexors here. And on our exhale, we're gonna go ahead, straighten our front leg, push our hips back, bring our chest down towards our knee, toes towards the ceiling, opening up the back of our legs here. And we're gonna go ahead and exhale, coming back forward into our hip flexor stretch. So same thing, really keep that glute squeeze. So we're gonna do this last one on this side, then we're gonna go ahead and move over to the other side. So squeeze our glute, push our hips forward. And on our exhale, we can go ahead and rock our hips back. Straighten our front leg, toes to the ceiling, bring our chest down as close to the knee as we can. Breathe into our tight areas here. And we're gonna go ahead and exhale and come out of that. And then we'll go ahead and switch our legs. So other knee is gonna go on the ground and the other foot. Same checklist though, butt to belly button, squeeze our glute and push our hips forward. Again, we can add our arm above head, making sure we're not pushing our hips too far forward. We wanna be nice and straight through our core and our spine here. And we can go ahead and exhale, straighten our front leg, rock our hips back, bring our chest down towards our knee, getting that nice stretch through the back of our leg here. And one more breath. And we're gonna come back forward. So we're gonna do that again one last time here. So squeeze that glute and push your hips forward, making sure you're keeping our glute squeezed. That's what helps us release our hip flexor, is by squeezing the opposite muscle group here. And we're gonna go ahead and exhale and rock back, straightening our leg, bring our chest down towards our knee. Breathing into the tight areas here. And we can go ahead and exhale and come out of that, and then make our way onto our hands and knees here. And we're going to do some quadruped rocks with our adductor stretch, getting ready for our moving lateral lunges here. So straightening one leg straight out to the side, keeping our pinky toe on the ground. We're going to do 3 rocks on each leg. So we're going to go ahead, inhale, rock back. Exhale, coming forward. Inhale, rock back. Exhaling forward. And last one, rocking back. And exhaling forward. And after the last one, we can go ahead and bring our knee back up underneath our hip. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So taking our other leg straight out to the side. Again, keep our pinky toe on the ground. We're going to inhale, rock back. Exhale forward. Inhaling back. Exhaling forward. And last one, rocking back. And exhaling forward. And after the last one, go ahead and bring our knee back up underneath our hip, and we are ready to rock and roll. So, like I said, today we're doing 50 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest / transition time. We are spelling out fall, so we're starting off with our forward lunges. We're going to go through 4 times here. Getting ready, 3, 2, 1, and go. So, starting off, forward lunges, we're going to alternate here. So stepping forward, making sure our knee is still coming past our second toe. Our chest is over the arch of our front foot. It's very similar. It's the same thing as a reverse lunge. We're just moving forward instead. So in this case, if you do feel it in your knees more than your glutes, please switch over to that reverse lunge. It's going to help us save our knees from any pain that we might have from this. But driving through our front heel, we really want to push off that front leg just like with a reverse lunge. It's just in a different direction. It's been a while since we've done 50 seconds. Still very long. 3, 2, 1. All right. Getting on the ground, we have ab mats for our A. So on the ground on our backs. 3, 2, 1. So we're touching the floor above our head. Exhale, come back, touch our feet. So touch the floor. Exhale, touch our feet. We want to try and cut down on momentum. I feel like this movement is really easy to use our momentum. So if you need to stop for a second at the bottom, pause, tap, exhale, and come back up. It's also really easy to use our arms to sit up. So if you need to slow down the movement, that's okay. We're not aiming for reps here. We're aiming for time. So move through the movement. Make sure we're feeling it in our core. It's also a great hip opener. Didn't realize, well, I actually knew my hips were tight, but you feel it. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. All right, we're standing back up. Lots of up and down today. That's part of the functional workout. We're doing our moving lateral lunges. 3, 2, 1. So we're stepping out to the side, knees coming forward, hips go back, pushing off of our foot, and then making sure that we lift our other foot off the ground. We're not dragging our other foot. We're coming out and we're standing up, lifting our leg. We're going to feel it a little bit on the inner thigh, and that's okay. We want to kind of pull our leg back in. We're going to use our adductor muscles. I'm going to go this way for a minute here. So stepping out, knee goes back. Knee goes forward, hips go back. Just like with any other movement, we're pushing off our heel, big toe, little toe. We're going to again feel this in our inner thighs and our adductors, but also our glutes and our quads. 3, 2, 1. All right, back on the ground. We have single leg lowering, and then we're going to do that 3 more times through. 3, 2, 1. So feet are as straight as we can make them. Trying to go as low as we can without our back coming off the ground, but also as low as we can go to only use our core to pull our leg back up. So if you go all the way down, but you're using your hips to pull your leg back up half the time, go ahead, go down a little bit higher, I guess you can say. Don't go down as low. So we can work on exhaling, pulling our core together, breathing through our straw as we lift our leg back up. So that's why it does help if we exhale. So we inhale down, exhale up. It's going to help us really use our core here. 3, 2, 1. All right, we're standing back up. We have forward lunges starting off. 3, 2, 1. So if you would like to make it a little bit more challenging, feel free, if you have dumbbells, you want to use weight, go ahead. Or you can make it more challenging by stepping out, pausing, and then coming back up. Or you can make it challenging by adding a rotation in here, so you can step forward, rotate towards your front leg, and then step off and come back. So forward, rotate. That's going to help us incorporate some core work. We're also holding at the bottom, so you're going to get some isometric in there. So whatever feels good, you can also just keep on lunging forward. This is our second round, so if you want to incorporate any of those, the next two, highly recommend. 3, 2, 1. Not necessarily recommend, but encourage. I want it to be challenging, but doable. We have ab mats on the ground. 3, 2, 1. Like I said, lots of up and down today. That is a very functional part of life. How often do we sit on the ground and have to get back up? Or even during a stretch break, we're on the ground and we come back up after it. So it does help to work on that. Great job. Exhaling as we come up. This is only going to get progressively harder as our core wears out. So I think by round 4, I'm going to be doing a lot less of these, but also my typical Friday speech. If we're tired, we got to just push through and do what we can. 3, 2, 1. All right. Getting up, moving lateral lunges are next. 3, 2, 1. So you can start on really whichever side you'd like, but again, stepping out and then driving, picking our leg back up and bringing it back in. So the muscles along our inner thighs are called our adductors, because when you're here, you add them back to your body. I don't know if that's why they called that, but that's how I remember that muscle group. There's quite a few of them there. But fun fact Friday. But this will help kind of strengthen that. But it's also going to help strengthen our body moving side to side, which is always important because life is not just lived front to back. So it's going to help, if you're walking your dog, they pull you one direction, it'll kind of help save your legs. 3, 2, 1. Save you from any injuries. Okay, we're on the ground again. Single leg lowering. 3, 2, 1. So after this, we'll be halfway done. So we'll do 2 more rounds after. Really focusing on using our core. I like to imagine just zipping the core together, or you can crush the apple. That imagery works for you. You can also place your hands on your core to see if you can feel them activate as you bring everything together, breathing through that straw. So you should be able to feel something kind of flexing under there. I know I can't see mine either. 3, 2, 1. I shouldn't say either. We're sitting back up for forward lunges. I'm just saying that I know I can still feel mine there. We have a 6-pack, even if we can't see it. 3, 2, 1. Something's got to protect our organs in there. So that's what we have our ribs for, but also our core muscles. All right. So we are on round 3. So this is where we can start to make it even more challenging. I don't know what I'm doing. So again, you can pause, step back up. You can hold 2 dumbbells in your hands here, or you can add the rotation. If we are rotating, which I do recommend doing that, it's a good way to work on our core, but also get some other motion through our spine. As y'all know, we definitely are doing pretzel today, but y'all know I like to do pretzel for the rotation. So this helps kind of incorporate that. I don't know where I was going with that. 3, 2, 1. Oh, you want to rotate back because it's two separate motions. All right, we got ab mats here. 3, 2, 1. This is where it starts to get a little bit more challenging. That's okay. We just got to keep pushing through. Again, it's not a speed race. We're not going for reps. So if you do less this time through because your core is tired, that's all good. That just means that we've been using our core the way we should be in this movement. And I'm so happy with that. So we got to take our wins when we can. Not every day are we going to be able to power through every movement and every workout. Some days our body is just done or it tires easily. And again, that's okay. It happens to all of us. We are human. 3, 2, 1. All right. Moving lateral lunges and single leg lowering. Then we got one more round and then we're going to cool down and breathe. 3, 2, 1. I'm definitely feeling like doing a nice, relaxing breathing session. So hopefully we'll be able to reset a little bit at the end before finishing off our workday for the weekend. Hopefully no one has to work over the weekend. And then we can really just kick off our recovery off on the right foot to then come back a little bit more refreshed and prepared for Monday. All right, we're doing awesome. I know it's a lot of lateral movement this week with the L's. Also a lot of leg work this week. That's good. We're working on our strength here. 3, 2, 1. All right. Single leg lowering. And then 3, 2, 1. And we got one more round. And exhale as we pull our legs back up to help us avoid using our legs and our hips. You might have to move a little bit slower to make sure we are using the core, and that's okay. I know my right hip is my not so great hip, and since it's tight, it sometimes tends to activate as I activate my core. So just being mindful of our movement. So I go a little bit slower with my right leg. 3, 2, 1. All right, y'all, we're almost there. This is our last round here. Forward lunges are first. 3, 2, 1. So it's our last round. We're finishing strong, making this last round our best one if we can. When we push, when we're tired, that's where we can really get recruiting a lot of muscle fibers. It also takes a lot of mental strength. So it helps build those new pathways throughout our brain when we push while we're tired. But there's a fine line between being fatigued in a workout and pushing through, or being physically, mentally exhausted and trying to push through. That's when we're really not going to see that progress. But, at the end of a workout, when we're, fatigued, all that, now is the time to push. 3, 2, 1. All right, done with those. We got ab mats. So on the ground. 3, 2, 1. Make sure I don't hit my head here. I'm honestly surprised that I've not injured myself on either of these walls or the breakfast bar. Teaching at home. Should get a gold star for not hitting my head. All right. This is again the last round. We're pushing through. Y'all are doing awesome. I feel your pain. My body is not happy with me today, but that's okay. We're here. We're showing up for ourselves. We're getting a little bit better every day. 3, 2, 1. All right, we got our moving lateral squats. And then single leg lowering, and then we're to stay on the ground. 3, 2, 1. Now I'm finally starting to not be super cold. When I tell y'all I've had my little heating pad and a blanket on me all day, we're really not kidding. I'm so cold today. Now finally starting to get warmed up, pushing off our foot, finishing strong with this one. You can also, I probably should have mentioned this earlier. I'm sorry. You could make this one a little bit more challenging by holding a dumbbell like a goblet squat underneath your chin or any weight you have. Sometimes I figure these ones are hard enough without needing weight because we're essentially doing a single leg squat moving in one direction. So finish strong. 3, 2, 1. All right, last movement, single leg lowering. We're going to stay on the ground here after this. 3, 2, 1. One leg at a time. Down, exhale, up. Again, working on our core. We're doing lots of core strength today. This one, a little bit more so of our whole pillar versus, well, not the whole pillar. We're not doing the shoulders, even though I do like to lay like this. Feels very nice. Great job. Keep pushing, keep using the core. If you find you have to have your legs a little bit bent, that's okay. As long as we're using our core. That's really the most stuff that I care about here. 3, 2, 1, and that is it for today's circuit. So go ahead, grab a sip of water if you need it. But like I said, we are going to stay on the ground for our cool down. We're going to do bretzel. So we're going to do it on each side, and then we're going to stay on the ground on our backs for our breathing. So choosing whichever side we'd like to on the ground. Top leg is going to come up, over, and across. Knee and ankle are going to stay on the ground. Bottom hand on top of our knee. Top hand grabs onto bottom foot or ankle. We're going to inhale to prepare. And we're going to exhale, bringing our top shoulder towards the ground. And this is where we're going to start to slow our breath down. Just breathing in through our nose, into our belly. And exhaling through our mouth, sighing away our tension. We're going to do one more breath. And as we finish our exhale, we can gently release our bottom leg. Then we're going to go ahead and roll over onto the other side and do the same thing here. So we have the same checklist. Top leg is going to come up, over, and across. That was a lot of cracking. Bottom hand on top of our knee. Top hand grabs onto the bottom foot or ankle. We're going to inhale to prepare. And we're going to exhale, opening up towards the floor. And we're going to breathe nice and deep into our belly. Let our bodies relax with each exhale. Let your body sink further into the ground. And we're going to do one more breath. And as we finish our exhale, we're going to gently release our leg. And then we're going to go ahead and roll over onto our backs for our breathing. And as always, I like to have one hand, so our right hand over our diaphragm, right underneath the ribs, and the left hand over our heart. So that way we can really focus on breathing into the belly and letting our right hand rise. And that's how we really want to breathe because that's going to get the most air into our lungs when we breathe through our diaphragm versus through our chest. So today, I don't really have a tempo. We're going to just do a little bit of free breathing here. So I want us to really focus on the breath. I want to try and clear our minds of the stress we might have today or whatever we're feeling. We're going to focus on our breath, breathing in through the nose and into the belly. And then I really want us to really make our exhales longer than our inhales, trying to, my favorite is 6-4-10. You can do whatever cadence you'd like today, as long as we're breathing into our belly, sighing away our tension, and trying to make our exhales longer than our inhales so we can really tap into our rest and digest, which is the parasympathetic nervous system. Go ahead and do one more nice big deep breath here. Let's start to wake the body up. We can wiggle the fingers and toes, move your head side to side. Feel free, if you would like, you can stay laying on the ground, or you can roll over gently onto your side to return to a seated, kneeling, or standing position. But that is going to be all the time that I have for today. So thank y'all for joining me. We did awesome today, did our fall workout. I hope y'all have a nice and relaxing weekend, and I will see y'all next week.